Hey, what's up, fools? I'm Lauren of laurenlesleystudio, and today I want to tell you a little bit about my story and how I became a successful designer. I'm a portrait illustrator and senior textile designer based out of Atlanta, Georgia. But before we dive into the content, be sure to like this video, leave a happy comment or question, subscribe to my channel, and definitely stick around to the end because I have an awesome free download for you guys. So I'm super excited that 4 of my rug designs are now selling at Anthropologie. That's like any designer's dream. The Raleigh rug on the left is a trendy, updated Persian design that is super cute in fresh colors. The Stella rug on the right is for someone with more of a glam style. It's in black and white, and the pattern is made up of oversized Dalmatian dots. The Rivera rug on this left is an abstract modern in neutral grays and golds, and the Felicity rug on the right is a printed watercolor design in fun lavender, pinks, and blush reds. Here's another modern design that's on West Elm's Instagram that has over 20,000 likes. When I saw this, I could not believe my eyes. I mean, you know, in your mind as a designer, you're still kind of nobody, and then you see people liking your stuff, and it's just really rewarding as a designer. And as a little bit of news, some of my patio rug designs will be selling in Target stores next season, so I'm super excited to see those in stores. That'll be another kind of wow moment as a designer. So you may be thinking, how did she do it? Well, let's start at the very beginning. So here I am, about 4 or 5 years old, sometime in the late 80s, coloring like a maniac in my coloring book while my sister is patiently waiting on me to play with her. I'm clearly in my own little world, and I have to say not much has changed since then. I still look a lot like this when I'm at my computer designing or painting some watercolor designs or patterns. So not long after the Christmas that I just showed you, my entire world shattered. The day after my 6th birthday, my dad passed away. Later in life, I learned that he was terribly depressed and took his own life. So that was extremely difficult growing up. But my mom was my rock, and she always made sure that my sister and I had an extremely happy childhood. Here you can see how I grew throughout the years, kind of an hilarious timeline. Thanks to soccer, you can see I'm in elementary school all the way up through high school. My best friends, were always there for me, and coming to grips with my dad's death as a teenager was extremely difficult. But my friends were there for me 1,000% through a lot of tears and confusion. When you lose a parent that young, I'll say that you can't totally process the finality of it. So throughout your life, you tend to grieve in waves. When you become a teenager, you sort of understand a little bit more about what that means, and that you're not going to get to see your dad again, and that he's not going to be able to walk you down the aisle in your wedding, and those kind of things. And, that you probably don't think about as a 6-year-old or even understand. But I will say my mom did an amazing job raising us, and the pool girls are still going strong. This is a cute photo of our little trio. Then when I went to college, my heart was dead set on studying abroad and traveling to Italy. I had taken art history in high school and in college, got a 5 on the exam, which I am no genius, so I think it was just the fact that I loved art so much and was kind of obsessed with it, and learning about different artists that had been masters and had been successful and had really shaped the art scene of today was just fascinating to me. And so looking back, I think I knew in my gut it was something that I desperately needed. It was, a place. It was such an inspiring country. I was meeting new people. I was connecting with other artists, and I had laser focus on creating art 100% of the time, which was huge for my growth. So I'll say, if you have the urge to travel somewhere and you feel like it's coming from a place deep within your soul, not like petty comparison or that you want to have something cool to post on your Instagram, but you feel deep in your soul that you are supposed to do this, don't ignore it. listen to it, follow it with all of your might, because this experience was life altering for me. And I know plenty of college students go to Europe and study abroad, and it's not that big of a deal. But for me, coming from such a small town where, with a family that never traveled outside of the US, it was a really big deal for me. So I came back to the US after this semester more confident and more determined than I had ever felt in my life. I finished out my school graduating with a BFA in studio art with a concentration in oil painting. So I had a lot of people in South Carolina, a lot of adults, quote unquote adults, that love to ask, well, what are you going to do with that? And so I did have to make a decision when I graduated. I could either go basically in two directions. I could either go to graduate school and get my MFA, but then it's still, okay, well, what are you going to do as a job? Are you going to be a professor? That tends to be what people do with an MFA. Or I could pursue something a little bit more commercial, which was not what I had been doing in school. And, when I was painting, I was doing more, portraits and, self-reflective work. Obviously not anything commercial. But I decided that not wanting to take out a gazillion dollars in student loans, and yes, that impacted my decision, I'm not afraid to say, I decided to take graphic design courses online and work as a nanny for a year, which I don't regret at all. And not long after, I landed my first job as a t-shirt designer for a local Spartanburg company in South Carolina. And during that 4 years that I worked at the t-shirt company, I opened an Etsy shop. I think I needed an outlet that was still a little bit more drawing, painting. At my t-shirt job, I ended up interviewing a lot of other artists and designers, and I just needed to be creating something myself. So in my Etsy shop, I sold everything from wedding invitations to tea towels to greeting cards. Then one day, a customer asked if I could design a character illustration, and I said yes, why not? So I posted the final design as an example in my shop, and to this day, I still sell tons of custom avatars for clients. It's been a really big part of my business online. So at my t-shirt design job, I kind of hit a ceiling and decided that I really needed to move on. I really enjoyed drawing print and pattern designs, and I had a little bit of that in my t-shirt design job, and so that was something I really latched onto. So I started applying for jobs as a textile designer. I learned that that was something that you could do for a job, which I didn't really know before. I received an offer in Atlanta, and it really felt like a huge fork in the road. It was a hard decision to move away from South Carolina, my home, but the longer I thought about it, the more I realized it wasn't that scary, because if things didn't work out, I could always move back home. And I think the experience of studying abroad and going away from home, even if it was just for a semester, really helped give me confidence in this decision as well. So I made the decision to move away from my current boyfriend, my friends and family, and everything I knew to chase my dreams as a textile designer. And in 2012, I started my second big girl job as a textile designer for Surya, a prominent wholesaler of rugs, pillows, and home decor. I learned so much about rug constructions, different types of yarn, textile history, and the entire home decor industry. I went to High Point, Las Vegas, New York, etc., Germany for shows, I was a total sponge, soaking up all the knowledge I could. So here are some photos of me hard at work styling the photo shoots for some of the products I had designed. So a lot of people get confused when I try to explain my job, and they think that I am an interior designer, and that's not the case at all. Interior designers have more of their functionality is more of putting products together and they design a room, whereas I'm designing the products that go into the room. However, I did work with our photographers to style the products in such a way that it made it easy for interior designers to visualize and put together, or for the end consumer who's shopping online to visualize these products in a room and get an idea of, what they could put with these rugs or pillows or with their furniture. So I designed everything from easy transitional home decor and soft goods to like high trend, tribal, and boho collections. I worked on everything from machine-made rugs to flat weave rugs to woven rugs to natural fibers to hand knotted to hand tufted, all across the board. I learned so much about all the different rug constructions and still love being innovative in that arena. I do have some product development in my job description as well. So I help come up with rug constructions and new developments in rugs and pillows. But in the meantime, my side hustle has also grown tremendously. I have started my own website, laurenlesley.com, and I sell tons of pre-made clip art. So remember back in 2011 when I started my Etsy shop and someone asked, can you design a custom avatar for me? And I said yes, and I posted it as an example in my shop and started selling those. Well, because I was still working full time, I didn't always have as much time as I wish I had had to service customers one by one. So I decided to create a ton of pre-made clip art and have that available for customers to just download as a super cheap option, number one, and a super fast option. Like you can literally have it immediately. So I have 3 different poses in each clip art listing, and it's just, and it's an incredibly affordable way to create a logo or a professional brand for yourself if you are a solopreneur or have a small business. They also work as amazing graphics for websites, blogs, and different marketing materials. I've also started a podcast called The Design Tribe, which is available to listen to on iTunes and Spotify. Super exciting and fun. I absolutely love doing this podcast. And an exclusive Facebook group for creative entrepreneurs and designers that you should totally join. Now, if you've stuck around this long, you totally deserve a prize. To get my ultimate 2019 trend guide for free, be sure to like this video again, leave a happy comment, please, or question, subscribe to my channel, and look in the description below to download the link. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you in the next video.